All right, ready to dive in. Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of sea turtles.
They're fascinating creatures.
Yeah, and we're going way beyond just the, oh, they're so cute
Oh,
factor.
we're going to look at their epic journey.
Millions of years of evolution, incredible migrations.
The sheer will to survive.
Against all odds. And
Yeah.
speaking of odds, we'll be uncovering those too.
Exactly. We'll be exploring all of that using an awesome YouTube video
Oh, yeah.
by Jonathan Bird.
I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, it's called Sea Turtles. HD. Jonathan Bird's Blue World.
Awesome.
It's packed with incredible visuals, and we're going to unpack some pretty mind-blowing facts.
Love it. So let's jump in. Ancient mariners.
Yeah, ancient. Did you know sea turtles have been swimming the oceans for 65 million years?
65 million years. I mean, wow, that's just, I can't even fathom it.
It's older than the Himalayan mountains. Think about it. They've witnessed the dinosaurs come and go.
It's mind-blowing. Every time I think about it, it
Yeah.
just wows me. And yet, these incredible creatures who've seen so much of Earth's history are now facing some very real threats.
Exactly. That's what we're going to uncover.
It makes their story even more compelling.
Yeah, because despite being around for so long, they're now endangered.
We're going to explore all of that. But first, let's talk about this place Jonathan takes us.
Oh, yeah. It's this tiny island in Malaysia called Sipadan Island.
Sipadan Island.
You could walk around the whole thing in about an hour.
Really? A tiny island is a haven for sea turtles.
It is. It's actually a thriving sea turtle sanctuary.
That's amazing.
Jonathan saw 30 turtles in just one dive.
30 turtles.
Yeah.
Wow. That's more turtles than people I see on my morning commute. So we know they live in the ocean, but they need air to breathe.
Right.
How does that even work?
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
They spend their entire lives in the ocean. But like us, they need air to survive.
I can barely hold my breath for a minute, and they can stay underwater for over an hour.
It's incredible, right?
Truly incredible.
And while they all need to breathe air, different species of sea turtles have very different diets.
Oh, really?
For example, the green sea turtle. They mainly graze on algae. Kind of like the vegetarians of the sea.
Oh, that's interesting. So are there like carnivorous sea turtles then?
Not strictly carnivores, but species like the hawksbill.
Hawksbill.
They've adapted to eat sponges and invertebrates.
Invertebrates. For those of us who don't speak marine biologist, what does that mean?
Basically animals without a backbone.
Okay,
So think crabs, jellyfish, worms.
gotcha. So hawksbills are eating things that would upset most of our stomachs.
Pretty much. They have to. Digesting sponges requires a much tougher stomach.
Wow.
It's fascinating how each species has evolved to fill a specific niche in the coral reef ecosystem.
It is fascinating.
Speaking of fascinating, let's talk about mating.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's the sea turtle love story like?
Well, it's a bit more dramatic than a love story.
Oh,
Mating happens out in the open ocean,
okay.
and it's a pretty high-stakes event for the males.
In what way?
Well, the males are easily identifiable by their long tails,
Okay.
and they chase after the females.
So it's a race to find a mate?
It's more like a competition. Often, multiple males will try to challenge the mating pair.
Really?
Yeah, they'll bite
Wow.
and even use air bubbles to try and break them apart.
So it's not as simple as boy meets girl in the sea turtle world.
Not at all. They really have to fight for the chance to mate.
And the female is just in the middle of all of this.
Exactly. Imagine that. Not only does she have to deal with the attention of multiple suitors, but she also has to swim and breathe for both of them during mating.
That sounds incredibly challenging. How long can these underwater battles go on for?
Sometimes for hours.
Hours.
It's a testament to their stamina and determination.
Wow.
But once a pair has successfully mated, the female faces another monumental task.
Laying the eggs.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And this part of the journey takes her from the open ocean back to land.
Back to land.
Yeah, which comes with its own set of challenges.
Okay, so the female has braved the open ocean, the mating gauntlet, and now she's back on land. Where does she go from here?
She has to find a suitable nesting beach,
Mm-hmm.
and that often involves a long, arduous trek up the shore.
It's incredible. They're not exactly built for land travel.
No, they're not. It's amazing. She's basically dragging herself up the beach, stopping constantly to catch her breath. It's exhausting just to watch.
I can imagine. And once she reaches a spot she deems suitable,
The real work begins.
she digs the nest, right? What's so special about that?
Well, more than you might think. The depth of that nest. It's crucial.
Oh.
It actually determines the sex of the hatchlings.
Hold on. The nest determines whether the babies are boys or girls. How is that even possible?
It all comes down to temperature.
Oh, okay.
If the nest is too shallow, The eggs will be warmer,
Yeah.
resulting in mostly females.
Interesting.
Too deep, and it'll be cooler, leading to mostly males.
So she's not just digging a hole, she's engineering the gender ratio of her offspring. That's wild.
It is. She digs by feel, using her rear flippers to create this perfectly sized chamber for her eggs.
How many eggs are we talking about here?
Over 100, usually. They're about the size of ping pong balls.
Ping pong balls. Wow. So I'm picturing this mama turtle meticulously working away, knowing the future of her babies depends on how well she digs.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? And after all that work, she camouflages the nest to protect it from predators,
Makes sense.
and then makes the long journey back to the sea.
Talk about a super mom. She really goes through a lot to bring the next generation into the world.
She does.
But now that we've covered the incredible journey from mating to nesting, let's talk about those threats you mentioned earlier.
Right. It's a bit of a shift in tone, but it's vital to understand the challenges these ancient creatures are up against.
Absolutely. And sadly, it seems like many of these threats are directly linked to human activity.
That's right.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What are some of the biggest dangers they're facing?
Well, one of the major ones is habitat destruction. Coastal development, pollution, climate change. All of these impact those vital nesting beaches.
Right. Those beaches are literally their lifeline, not just for nesting, but for those tiny hatchlings making their first journey to the sea.
Exactly. And it's not just about physical space either.
What do you mean?
Things like light pollution from coastal developments.
Yeah.
They could actually disorient hatchlings, causing them to wander inland instead of towards the sea.
That's heartbreaking. Imagine being a tiny turtle already facing so many predators and then getting confused by our lights. It's like we're setting them up to fail.
It is a stark reminder of how our actions can have unintended consequences.
Yeah.
And then there's the danger of fishing gear.
You mean the bycatch issue? I've seen those heartbreaking images of turtles tangled in nets.
It's a serious problem. Sea turtles need to surface for air.
Right.
And if they get caught in fishing gear, they can drown.
It's a tragic loss and often preventable.
Exactly.
It's tough to hear these things, but it's important to talk about them. What about the plastic pollution problem? It seems like that's affecting every corner of the ocean these days.
Absolutely. Sea turtles can mistake plastic bags for jellyfish,
Oh, no.
which are a food source for some species.
I can only imagine the damage that eating plastic can do to their systems.
It can be devastating. Blockages, starvation, even death.
It's scary to think about.
And the problem is only getting worse as more and more plastic accumulates in our oceans.
That's the grim reality.
It is a grim picture, but it's important to remember that there is hope.
Hope. It feels a bit hard to see right now with all of these threats.
I understand that feeling. But there are so many dedicated people and organizations working tirelessly to protect sea turtles and their habitats.
I'm so glad you said that. It's easy to get caught up in all the doom and gloom, but let's focus on that hope. Who are these people doing this amazing work, and what are they doing to help protect sea turtles?
There are some incredible initiatives out there
Yeah.
focused on protecting nesting beaches,
Yeah.
creating marine protected areas, and even promoting sustainable fishing practices.
So it's a multi-pronged approach, attacking the problem from all sides. What can we do to support these efforts?
Well, honestly, one of the most impactful things we can do is reduce our plastic consumption.
Reduce our plastic. Makes sense.
Remember those plastic bags we use?
Yeah.
They end up in the ocean where they can harm sea turtles.
Right. So swapping out those single-use plastic bags for reusable ones?
Exactly.
Making sure we've always got a reusable water bottle on hand? Even ditching those plastic straws?
Small changes like that can make a big difference.
They really add up. And being mindful of how we dispose of our waste is important too.
Absolutely. Making sure plastic items go in the recycling bin, and if we're at the beach, participating in or even organizing a beach cleanup.
I've done a few beach cleanups. It's amazing how much trash accumulates. It's kind of sad, actually.
It is. But it's
Right.
great that you're doing that.
What about those of us who want to take things a step further? How can we get more directly involved in conservation?
Volunteering. You can volunteer with organizations that focus on sea turtle, research rescue, and rehabilitation.
That sounds incredible, to be able to work directly with these animals and help them.
It's an amazing way to connect with these creatures and to learn so much more about them.
And even if you can't commit to volunteering, supporting these organizations through donations is helpful too.
Absolutely. Those funds go a long way in helping them carry out their important work.
Right. Every little bit counts. And it's not just about the hands-on work. Simply spreading the word and educating others is huge.
You're right. Education and advocacy are crucial.
Yeah.
The more people who know about the threats sea turtles face, the more likely we are to see positive change.
You know what else I was thinking about? We can also make a difference through our everyday choices,
How so?
like supporting businesses that are committed to sustainability and making informed choices about the seafood we eat.
Yes. Choosing seafood caught using sustainable fishing practices.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
We can't underestimate the power of voting with our wallets.
I like that voting with our wallet. We've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
It's been a real journey, from the awe-inspiring to the heartbreaking.
It has.
But ultimately, I feel hopeful.
Me too. It's easy to feel powerless when faced with these big environmental issues. But remembering that our individual actions do make a difference is key.
Working together, we can ensure that these ancient mariners continue to grace our oceans for generations to come.
Exactly.
It's inspiring to think that our actions, no matter how small, can contribute to the survival of a species that has been around for millions of years.
It really is.
Wow, what a deep dive this has been. We've explored their incredible life cycle, the threats they face, and what we can do to protect them. It's been eye-opening.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you leave feeling inspired to make a difference.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.